week, I went to my local bank because I had to pick up a few checkbooks. So when I was called up to the bank clerk, I was waiting while the clerk was processing my transaction, and I looked behind him and I noticed something that I'd never noticed before. I noticed that behind him there was a sign. It was a certificate, and it said, Bank Hapoalim recognizes so-and-so, this clerk's name, as the best bank clerk in all of Israel. As the best Bank Hapoalim bank clerk in all of Israel. So I said to him, I said, is this right? Like, you were the #1 bank clerk for Bank Hapoalim in all of Israel, meaning that out of probably thousands and thousands of bank clerks, he was #1. So he said, he looked back and he sort of chuckled. He said, yeah, he said, that was from 1999, that's 11 years ago. He said, and I was recognized as the #1 bank clerk in all of Israel. So I didn't say this to him, but I was a bit surprised because I've lived in this neighborhood for 14 years. And I've been going to this bank for 14 years. And so I've been to this clerk many times. And he's always been, fairly courteous, and he's good at what he does. But I've never noticed anything like exceptionally so excellent about him and his, his bank clerking skills. So he said, I guess like he sort of, it's as though like he knew what I was thinking. And he said, but that was a long time ago. He said, like 11 years ago, like I was really gung-ho about being a bank clerk. Like it was like really exciting for me. I was like working with all this money every day. And, and all I wanted to do was be a bank clerk. And that was like, I was so enthusiastic. I was really gung-ho, and that's all I wanted to do in life. He said, but as the years passed, my sort of enthusiasm sort of dwindled. He said, and now for me, it's just like another job. It's just like I punch the clock, and just for me, I've lost my drive, I've lost my desire to excel as a bank clerk. So afterwards, when I was leaving, I realized that this bank clerk, it really reminded me of a Devar Torah that I heard many years ago from Rabbi Chana Henkin of Nishmat. And she asked the question. She said, why in the Holy Temple there weren't stairs? There was a ramp. There was a ramp leading up to the altar in the Holy Temple. So she said, why? Why was that? So she explained that on stairs you can climb up a few stairs and then stop and take a rest on one of the stairs and then keep on going, keep on climbing. But a ramp, if you're going up and you stop, it's awkward to stand still. At a certain point you're going to start falling back. If you don't keep on going up, you're going down. And Rabbi Henke explained, she said, and that's how it is in life as well. When you're not climbing on a spiritual level, when you don't keep on growing and trying to be better, and you just try, and at one point you just start stand still, you can't stand still, you're going to start going back. So, of course, now it's Elul. We're leading up to in the weeks up to Rosh Hashanah. And all of us are trying to go up that ramp in terms of personal growth, spiritual growth. We all really, really want to reach Rosh Hashanah as better people. So I wanted to tell you about something that I learned a few years ago, and something that really, really, I think it's a really revolutionary approach to self-change and to personal and spiritual growth, and it's made a tremendous, tremendous impact on my life. So a few years ago, I heard from Rabbi David Gross about the 1% solution. The 1% solution means that in everything that you do, that you try to be the slightest bit better. You try and do everything 1% better. So, for example, if now it's like the end of summer vacation, and I bet like a lot of us are a little bit at the end of our rope with our kids, okay? So, now it's Elul, you're going to say, okay, for all of Elul, I'm going to be 1% more patient. I'm going to be 1% a better mom with my children, okay? Let's say that you're sitting down, you're saying Birkat Hamazon, you're saying the blessing after meals, but you decide to say it's Elul, you'd be 1% better. Okay, instead of rushing through it like you do most days, you're going to say it with 1% more focus, with 1% more, concentration than you usually do. Maybe like you pick out one line in Birkat Hamazon that you're really, really going to focus on. Okay, really, really think about what it means instead of just rushing through it. Let's say that you have a neighbor, and your neighbor, you don't really like this neighbor very much. You'd really rather just sort of rush by this neighbor. But it's Elul, gonna give that neighbor a 1% bigger smile. Maybe you'll stop if you can and be 1% kinder to this neighbor that you don't really enjoy her company so much. Okay? So what I found over the years is that what I've discovered is that there's really, really no more effective way to become the people that we want to become the people that God wants us to become, than by making these small adjustments in our behavior. By trying to be 1% better in all these little ways. And it's almost like sort of these indetectable changes in what you do. In the end, it has a tremendous impact on the kind of person that you are. So, I wanted to conclude with another story. On Friday, I was walking through the Jerusalem market. I was walking down Rehov Agrippas, which is like a major street by the shuk. And coming towards me, there was a man who was coming back from the shuk with his bags. And when I was coming towards him, he stepped into the street for a moment. And at that moment, I saw a car coming very, very quickly towards him. So I said, "Be careful! There's a car behind you." And then he jumped back onto the pavement, and at that moment, the car sped past him. So he was incredibly thankful, and he said, thank you so much. And I realized, it's like I hadn't done anything. What did I say to him? All I said was, be careful, there's a car coming. It's like I did nothing. It was such a small, good deed that I did. But in the end, it had a tremendous impact. I mean, who knows, I certainly saved this person from a certain amount of injury. Maybe I even saved his life. I just want to tell, I think it's like a tremendous mashal, a tremendous, story about our lives. These small things that we do. We don't realize the tremendous impact that they can have on us and on the world. So I want to bless all of us that this Elul, through using this 1% solution, being just the slightest bit better, doing the different, when you have an opportunity to do a mitzvah, do it just 1% better. And that this Elul, that we should all do that, and that we should come to Rosh Hashanah much closer to being the people that we want to be, and be closer to being the people that God wants us to be. I want to bless everyone with an amazing week.